Hey everybody, so it's that time of the year. It is fall, the leaves are turning colors, it's getting cold, and the pumpkin spice is making its way out. Everybody goes crazy this time of the year for pumpkin spice everything. Anyway, I decided that I would try to do a creme brulee, and I wanted to do a pumpkin pie creme brulee, something a little different this time. And I did it in the Instant Pot. First time actually ever doing it in the Instant Pot itself. I'm more traditional and usually did it in a water bath in the oven. But anyway, let's go ahead and get it going here. Alright, so here we have 2/3 cup pumpkin puree. We got our eggs, we got Watkins vanilla, this is the only brand I use. And then we have a pumpkin pie spice by McCormick's. We have 1/3 cup of sugar, and we have 2 cups of heavy cream. Let's go ahead and start with the heavy cream. We want to get that and the sugar going. You're going to cook this, you're going to get it just at a simmer, kind of let it cook there a little bit. While that's going, then we'll work on the puree and the eggs. So let's go ahead and get this. I'll put it on maybe about a medium heat while I'm working on it. I'm getting a little bit of smoke because somebody burned something on my stove earlier, but we'll ignore that. So we got the sugar added. Let's go ahead and get that mixed in as it's heating up. And you want to stir frequently. You don't want to leave it unattended for too long. So try not to put it at too high of a temperature while you're working on the other stuff. And then once that's pretty good and mixed in, we'll move back. We're going to mix in our eggs and our pumpkin puree now. This is 8 yolks actually. It looked like there was only 7, but one of them actually broke. It broke in the last video I was doing where I was showing how to separate them easily. If you're interested in that, you can go check out that video. I show 4 different ways to separate your egg yolks. Then we're going to go ahead and get that pumpkin mixed in here. And we're going to have our vanilla. So with the vanilla, we'll be doing a teaspoon. Like I did mention, Watkins is the only brand I use. It is the brand that my family has used for a very, very long time. This company's been around since the late 1800s, so they pretty good quality. And then we'll add a little bit of the pumpkin spice as well. I'll add about 2 teaspoons of that one. I could only find my ½ teaspoon. I don't know what happened to the other one. I think the kids were playing with it with their sand, so I gotta find that. But either way, like I said, 1 teaspoon of that. And then, like I said, I'm gonna use about 2 teaspoons of the pumpkin pie spice. You can use a little bit more if you like it to be a little bit stronger. And I'm not gonna level them up. It'd be fine. I know some people like a little bit heavier with it. I'm not. I mean, I like pumpkin pie spice, but I don't like it being overpowering. Then we'll go ahead and get all this mixed up. And after you get this mixed up, go check on your mix on the stove. You don't want to leave that unattended too long, like I mentioned. Also almost forgot, I want to add just a pinch of salt. Don't need much, just a little pinch. And then our liquid is now ready. I'm going to pull it off the stove. What we want to do is we want to put a small amount in to temper it. We don't want to just mix it all together, because then you're going to curdle your eggs, scramble them, whatever you want to call it. So it's not good to do. So you definitely want to temper it. This is the same method that you do for like chocolates and stuff as well. Just do a little bit at a time, just to kind of bring it up to temperature. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more, and then we'll pour the rest of it in, mix it up, and then put everything back on the stove. Smells really good. Now we're going to go ahead and just mix everything. And then we're going to want to throw this back on the stove like I mentioned. That way we can cook it down a little bit. We need to cook it where it gets a little bit thicker and it will pretty much stick to the back of the spoon. And I would say that I've been asked before, my favorite pans are the Calphalons. I love cooking with them. They're a lot thicker, they hold the heat better, and they cook more evenly. So they are one of my favorite sets. I don't have the whole set, only just a few of them because they are a little bit more pricey, but I do highly recommend that brand. Now we're going to go ahead and just get this cooked up a little bit. Leave it, let it simmer for a little bit. That way it gets up to temperature. You're looking at probably right around 170 degrees is where you're going to get it. You don't want to boil it. Alright, we're speeding it up a little bit here. It has been cooking for a couple minutes. We'll go ahead and give it another stir. It's starting to thicken up. Definitely what I'm looking for. Checking the spoon. It's starting to coat the back of the spoon. Just about perfect. Go ahead and get your ramekins ready. You're going to pour them in. I'm using a little bit larger ramekins. They are Pioneer Woman ones that I picked up. They were the only ones that were actually at the store at the time I was there. I would actually recommend just a little bit smaller. That way you can get a couple more in there. These ones are 9-ounce ramekins. I'm not filling them up completely to the top. You do want a little bit of space. But I would recommend maybe getting some 4-ounce or even 6-ounce ones. I'll put a link below of some really good ones on Amazon that I like. And this one, so I actually kind of curdled the bottom just a little bit, that you can see it in that last one there. That's what I was mentioning to kind of keep away from. Don't get the temperature a little too high, and you got to make sure that you're stirring it frequently. I didn't stir it quite enough. So hopefully when you do yours, you'll take this as a lesson to make sure that you constantly keep an eye on it and stir it. I should have kept a better eye on it, but overall it's not going to ruin it. It's still going to be good. And then we want to get but before that, let's go ahead and get these covered up with some foil. That's going to help seal out the water a little bit there. So just kind of wrap them as best you can. And I will individually wrap each one of them. We'll go ahead and kind of skip forward. Alright, so we're going to get our trivet here. We put that on the bottom. There's 1 cup of water at the bottom as well. Now, because these ramekins are a little larger, it is a little bit harder to get them fit in here. I had to kind of mess around, maneuver things a little bit just to kind of get them to fit as much as I wanted to. I'll go ahead and kind of skip forward with that a little bit. Alright, so I got all 4 of them in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the lid on here, and we'll go ahead and get this cooking. Alright, got my lid. Make sure your seal is on there really good, and make sure your venting is also closed. Now we're going to go ahead and do pressure cook on high, and we're going to want to do it for about 10 minutes. You can go just a little bit longer. You can go about 12 minutes if you like, and then let it do a natural release afterwards for about 15 minutes. And we'll go ahead and get that going, and we'll come back. So we're back now. It has cooked. It ended up doing a natural release for about 17 minutes. This is fine because I did 10 minutes for the cook and then the release. Some people do about 12 minutes, I was reading, but it's alright. Go ahead and get these out of here. They are going to be very hot, so handle with caution, especially that ceramic. It gets really, really hot. And we're going to give it a little jiggle. Looking pretty good. That was one of the ones that didn't completely set flat. It's alright. When we caramelize the sugar and stuff on it later, it's not going to look so bad. Then we want to get the rest of these out of here. They're a little slippery with this glove. I have like a love-hate relationship with this oven mitt. This was one of the nicer ones. Perfect jiggle. A nice little jiggle without it like falling over. And it's going to set a little bit more once you chill them. And and I'm just going to pull the whole trivet out for these last two. And you can see the water that's on top, that's why we have the foil. Then what we want to do is we want to get these in the fridge, let them chill for a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours, and yeah, I mean they look pretty good. They smell really good. I'm pretty happy with this. Only one of them looks a little off because it didn't quite set. It had that little bit of that curdled part of it. Yeah, you can see when I tilt it to the side, it doesn't plop out, so it's like the perfect texture. We'll go ahead and get this chilled. Alright, so we are back. I got the chilled creme brulees here. I got the Otani torch. I've actually had this torch for like 15 years. I'll put a link below if you are interested in getting one. This one is a pretty expensive model though. It's like 75 bucks. But I'll link a really good knockoff one as well. It's like 15 or a little bit less normally. And then what we want to do is we want to get a little bit of sugar, get that sprinkled on top, and then we're going to torch it, caramelize it. Go ahead and get a little bit sprinkled on here. You could also use cane sugar. That works very, very well. Try not to make it way too thick. You just need a little bit of a layer to get it caramelized. And you don't want to concentrate on one area. You want to, swing it back and forth. Keep it moving around. That way you don't get it all burnt, because nobody wants a burnt sugar creme brulee. But just keep it moving non-stop. You can see it bubbling. I actually put just a little thicker than what I should have. Because you can see the top layer is kind of melting, but there's still some in between it's not. But just don't stay in one spot, just keep it moving. And you can see how it's caramelizing. Smelling really good. It's a butane torch. These don't smell. They don't put, make an off flavor or anything like that. They're not going to hurt your foods. You could also use these for when you're doing sous vide and everything as well, if you want to put some color on your meats. I don't really have too many things to garnish, so I'm just going to throw some blueberries, a little bit of powdered sugar. I don't exactly have a sifter for that as well. You can tell I don't bake very often, so I just don't have a whole lot of these products. In the restaurant, we would have done like spun sugar or maybe like bubbled sugar, garnishes like that. You can do raspberries, you can do strawberries with cream. I mean, it's pretty much endless the things that you can do for garnish. Anyway, this is my creme brulee. Turned out pretty good. I did the sugar a little bit thick, so it's a little hard to kind of crack it, but it's all right. The custard part could have been just a little bit thicker, but anyway, subscribe, like, comment below. Thank you for stopping by.